everybody. Welcome to ANGIS International Conference 2018 and welcome to the historical place of Burdwan. Welcome to the Granary of West Bengal. The Department of Geography, Department of Geospatial Science heartily welcomes you all. We have with us still Professor Mantar Sangamita has not yet come. Professor Mahua Sarkar, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of this University, Professor T. Mizushima of the University of Tokyo, Japan and Secretary General of ANGIS, Professor Amrish Dubey of Jawaharlal Nehru University and President ANGIS India. We have also with us Professor Govinder Joshi. I am very much happy to see sir because he has come to Burdwan first time. And Professor Mandira Datta of School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Dr. Tapati Mukhopadhyay, Director, National Atlas and Thematic Mapping Organization, Government of India. So, the Department of Geography and Department of Geospatial Science heartily welcomes you all. We are going to start the deliberation. The Department of Geography and Department of Geospatial Science heartily welcomes you all. All the dignitaries are present in the auditorium. We have with us Professor Mantar Sangamita, Honorable Member of Parliament and Chief Guest of this conference, Professor Mahua Sarkar, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor T. Mizushima of the University of Tokyo, Japan, and Secretary General ANGIS, Professor Amrish Dubey of Jawaharlal Nehru University and President ANGIS India. Also, we have with us Professor Govinder Joshi, Professor Mandira Datta of Jawaharlal Nehru University. So now, I request all the dignitaries to come over the dais and take their seat. Our volunteers will escort the dignitaries. Please. And I request President of this conference, Professor Ghiyasuddin Siddiqui, Convener Dr. Biplab Biswas to come over the dais. Now we are going to felicitate the dignitaries on the dais. we are going to felicitate the dignitaries. First, Professor Mamtaj Shangamita, Honorable Member of Parliament. Now, we are felicitating our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Mahua Sarkar. Professor T. Nijoshima, Secretary General, ANGIS, University of Tokyo, Japan. Professor Amresh Dubey of Jawaharlal Nehru University and President ANGIS India. Professor Yasuddin Siddiqui, President of this conference. We are felicitating Dr. Biplab Biswas, convener of this conference and head of the Department of Geography, the University of Burdwan.
Now it is time also to felicitate our Secretary General of this conference, ANGIS 2018, Professor Narayan Chandra. Please.
Another gift for the dignitaries. NATMO is giving, what is the volume?
Indo-Asian Metallurgical Atlas.
So, NATMO is giving volume to all the dignitaries. And Dr. Tapati Banerjee is here, Director of NATMO. So please, Madam. Madam will. Dr. Tapati Banerjee, Director, National Atlas and Philippine Mapping Organization, Government of India. Now, I request Professor Mumtaz Sangamita, Pro BC Madam, Professor Dubey for lighting ceremonial lamp, and others will join. Now I request Professor Mohan Sarkar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Burdwan, to deliver welcome address on behalf of the university.
Sir Mamtaz Shambhumita, Honorable MP Lok Sabha, Professor T. Mizushima, Secretary General ANGIS, University of Tokyo, Japan, Professor Amresh Dubey, President ANGIS, JNU New Delhi, Professor G. Siddiqui, Chairman ANGIS, and Professor Bhupinder Jutsi, JNU New Delhi, Professor, and there is, I think other persons are also here, Dr. Tapati Banerjee, Director, thank you Tapati, and other fellow delegates, Professor Narayan Chandra and Dr. Viktor Vishal, and my other colleagues of the Department of Geography, Professor Burdwan Ghosh, Principal, who belongs to the discipline of Geography, and my colleagues from the Department of Geography and other departments of the University of Burdwan, and the guests and fellow participants of this ANGIS 2018 meet. On behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Nimai Chandra Shaha, on behalf of our institute, the University of Burdwan, I offer my heartfelt welcome to all of you. Let us enjoy, as has been already put forth by a senior Professor Jana of this department, let us enjoy the pollution-free greeneries of Burdwan, the new winter which has made this place further beautiful. Let us have our academic exchanges in this wonderful place of learning, and I welcome you and I sincerely offer my gratitude for being a part of us for these 2 or 3 days. I must thank the Department of Geography, particularly Professor Jana and Professor Vishal and others also, a young lady I met earlier, I've forgotten the name, I'm sorry for that. I'm really thankful to them on behalf of the authority of Burdwan to organize such a wonderful seminar and at a beautiful point of time, seasonally if I also say. And actually, I think all the credit goes to the Department of Geography, and let me acknowledge the fact that if the guests, you face any problem, for the problem I am apologetic on behalf of the authority, and the faults are mine and ours only. So we should give the Department of Geography a heartfelt thanks. Now, in a word or two about the subject itself, since I belong to the discipline of history, and today we are supposed to have a dialogue or a trialogue between history, geography and economics. I would just give the sum up for the students only. I think students are also here. Sum up of the thing which we are going to discuss, a theme on which we will exercise our academic potentials, is the GIS. As you know, we have already been awarded with a beautiful publication of the National Atlas. The GIS, we know, as we all know, is a system designed to capture all kinds of geographic data to improve the knowledge systems of the world. Here we are mentioning only history, economics and geography, but I think that GIS is indispensable to improve the knowledge systems of the world itself. The GIS provides tools that allow to create interactive queries, analyze spatial information, edit data in maps, and present the results of all operations. So I would argue here, as a social scientist, as a student of history, I will argue that GIS is the beginning of digitization actually. That is the beginning of digitization, a process which we have improved with the help of softwares and improved cartography and other modelings. GIS is associated with as I am saying, with a number of different technologies, processes and methods. And locations. Locations are very important, you know. In all kinds of exercise of knowledge, you have to understand the real physical existence of a space. This may, my welcoming may appear very simplistic to the specialists. But since I am just trotting the sphere from the other side of the hedge, being a historian, I find this is simple, general, yet complicated and complex and very widely orbited. Location or space as the key index variable is very important in the word space-time. And this can be recorded as dates, as you know. Without dates, you cannot, practice history. Without dates, you cannot find out the ups and downs of the economies of different time scales. So, locations are important as dates representing longitude, latitude, and elevation respectively. And this key feature of GIS is now, as I am harping, I repeat, have started to open new avenues of scientific inquiry. So, this seminar should be taken in a real interdisciplinary way, because it is opening a new scientific inquiry where we can probe new questions through various fields of social sciences. New questions can be raised through various fields of social sciences. It is a rapidly changing field also. I argue that this is a field which is flexible, which is increasing, which is widening up day by day. So it's rapidly changing, and GIS systems are increasingly including new and newer analytical tools, which include new software analysis and other kinds of scientific digitization process. To conclude, I would only say a few words from the standpoint of my microdiscipline, that is history, where I find that cartography or maps are important to present geography, history and economics together. Maps are very important. Maps show what has happened, and maps show the differences as well as similarities across time. Before coming to this seminar, I was just wondering about the maps of colonial Bengal. Since I am a historian, I am trying to find out what we can get from the maps of colonial Bengal. I found that the early maps of colonial Bengal, the maps of Rene, Strachey, I was just going through a particular map to show that how the maps are constructing history also. Maps are linking our past knowledges with the position of the present. The British people here who had colonized India or Bengal, they were conscious that the land they mapped had histories of ownership. It is not an ordinary land. As we have found from the maps of National Atlas, we get very good records of Buddhist advances in Southeast Asia. So it is a land of heritage, land of information. They knew that if they could carefully graft their maps, they could make the maps more authoritative. So maps are not only sketches only. Maps can authoritate a dictum. So maps are a way of incorporating the past in a particular way. I am arguing here, before leaving for the further discussions along these lines, that colonial British map makers often constituted their maps to justify their territorial position. That they are justified in their territorial possession. And maps were used obviously for construction of roads and railways, riverine maps, you know about James Rennell, and the determination of revenue and movement of troops and goods. But maps also express, what I argue here, maps express political and economic perspectives. You know, maps are linked with your historical and economic perspectives, which are actually made to seem as natural, but which were depicted. Actually, they were not natural. The history of colonial mapping in general, since India had been a colony for a long time, this history shows that maps were one of the most effective resources the British could turn to when they looked for their legitimacy. That we have come to rule this colony, they are showing this legitimization through their maps. Maps were used for articulation of the past, using cartographic perspectives and idioms. Various strategies were used by the map makers to include the past into their narratives. And I argue that maps themselves are texts. Maps are texts, and maps are subject to the same kind of distortion which had been made by colonial historiography. So when you are critical of colonial historiography, you have to take the maps also within your understanding. The arguments in favor of imperialism, British imperialism, are all conveyed in a subtle way through colors. If I go along geography, colors, names, and projection of places in a map. Why I am saying so? I will end with reference to one single map which was published in 1842 by the Society for the Diffusion of Useful Knowledge. It is available in the archive of the Asiatic Society, Calcutta, Kolkata. You will find that the indigenous peoples were excluded from these maps, colonial maps. And there is a lack of reference to temples or mosques in the city maps, of maps like the city of Calcutta. So this was done with a purpose to impose colonization, to project colonial imperialism. So the architecture, the choice of what buildings to include, and the depiction of Indians only as servants or peons existing outside the gates of power together suggest that Calcutta was a British city. So maps do give us a picture of a British city. It was set in an exotic landscape, but it was British in its texture. Indians were projected as porters or peasants only. There was no other indication in the map that Calcutta was an Indian city inhabited by Indians. Thus, I conclude in this welcome address that 18th and 19th century cartographic conventionality became subservient to colonialism. Similarly, in the modern day, days of globalization, you can take, I think you know that how, GIS has been used for epidemiology. There are lots of references along these lines. Cartography and nowadays modern computers also can be clubbed together to be associated with power knowledge, as has been argued by Michel Foucault or Derrida. Thank you.
We are quite fortunate enough. Our Provici Madam has given a valuable address. So thank you, Madam. Now, I request Dr. Biplab Biswas, Head of the Department of Geography and Convener, ANGIS 2018, to introduce the theme of the conference.
Thank you, Professor. Good morning. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam, Professor Monkashakar, and Honorable MP, Professor Mamata Sambhita, Professor Nijishima-san, Professor ANGIS sir, Professor Jishibiti sir, Professor Jana, and of the dais, Professor Dilsi sir, Mundira madam, Patoti madam, Saiko madam, Anilji, Babaji, Parmat Ghosh, Professor Parmat Ghosh, and my colleagues and friends. So I think our Professor Vice Chancellor madam has already introduced her theme, and it was really a real introduction of the theme, and I do not have much thing to say to introduce about the theme. Just few lines about ANGIS I would like to share. ANGIS is Asian Network for GIS-based historical studies. That means this society, it is a society, and we are trying to study any historical events, any historical features with the help of GIS. And of course, if there is any history, it is of course located on the earth surface, so it has got geographical location. At the same time, any feature located on the earth's surface must have some economic importance. So that brings together geography, economics, and history. So far, what we did in our university traditionally, it is a separate department of geography, department of history, department of economics. Maybe we do not know each other's activity, and sometimes for a junior teacher may not be aware who are the teachers of the other department also. But this network is giving us the platform to come together, to work together, to form a network, so that what the geographers are doing should be relevant to historians, and also should have some economic importance for economists as well. So here, this integration of these three subjects together, we are using GIS, and GIS is Geographical Information System. That is a computer-based computer-based program to store all the database about the Earth surface features, which has got historical importance as well as economic importance. So, keeping all these things in mind, and also there is another aspect of the society, that so far, if you go to the history textbooks, you will find that our history we read from Europeans' perspective. So most of the history we read Alexander. So this type of European influence is there in our history book. But our own history, our Asian history, is much older and much richer than the European history. So it's the idea, is the thought of Professor Nijishima-san to reorient the thought process. We should think history from the Asian perspective. So to change the perspective, he initiated the idea of setting up an organization, and ANGIS is such an organization to change the thought process. So in doing so, we have our ANGIS has our own journal where we send our research articles, we publish our papers, we see what the other people are doing or thinking about the integration of these three subjects together. And with the journal, we are also conducting international seminars every year in different cities of Asia. And this conference, ANGIS 2018 conference, is the first time in India, and we are very proud, our Burdwan University is very proud to say that in India, first time in India, and we are holding the conference. So that is a great thing, and we must thank the Secretary General for offering us the opportunity to holding us the seminar. So without wasting much time, I would like to finish with the thing that we are having 72 abstracts of paper from different keynote speakers, invited speakers, as well as participants, paper presenters. And all the 72 abstracts has been classified in 7 sub-themes. Those 7 sub-themes are landscape dynamics and human response, historical events and societal behavior, geoheritage, geoarchaeology and tourism, trade relations and trade routes, resource and economy, database monitoring, and climate change. So as the central idea of this conference is using GIS, so in every of the 6 aspects, we are having GIS at the center of study. So with this, I think I close that. I finished the continuation of our Professor Madam started, and thank you very much.
To Dr. Biswas, before proceeding to the address by other dignitaries, now we would like to release the abstract volume by the dignitaries. Now I request Professor P. Mizushima, University of Tokyo, Japan, and Secretary General ANGIS to deliver his address.
Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mizushima. This is a really very honorable situation for me, with having such a distinguished guest, and I'm also so glad to have this one. Beautiful publication. Congratulations. I never expected this type of things from India. So such a beautiful photographs and with satellite photos, and this shows the very high standard of Indian culture and education and research. Congratulations, madam. Most of the things have been already said by two or three people here already. But usually this ANGIS meeting have around 10 to 15 countries representation. But unfortunately this time it's a bad season to gather people. Just in middle of the teaching season. So this time less participants from other countries. But still I am so impressed by the many attendance here, and for which I really feel grateful to all the organizers headed by Dr. Biswas. And also, I would like to express my most gratitude to all the students and all the helpers who worked very hard in the past 1 month, 2 months, 3 months for making this event successful. Thank you very much for that. So we are going to kick off the 3 days conference from today. And as already mentioned by many of the people here, GIS, though it is quite new, and though it is still less, in a way, what can I say, not well populated, I mean, not that popular so far, but it has a great potential. And I recently attended some meeting in Holland some 2 years ago. And they are discussing about big data and big questions. So they are trying to utilize big detailed information. But still, so far the GIS is concerned, still they are at the initial stage. And ANGIS is much, forward compared with those European and American scholars so far this field is concerned. So we should be very proud of, making this movement forward by collaborating each other. And the next 3 days will be the very, very important occasion for all of us to push this trend further ahead. And definitely we will be leading the historical GIS studies in the world. For this, I very much appreciate the people's collaboration here, and especially by the Bengal people here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mijushima, for his valuable comments. Now I request Professor Amaresh Dubey, President ANGIS India, and Professor of Center for the Study of Regional Development, Jawaharlal Nehru University, to deliver his address.
Thank you, Professor Jana. First, PVC, Professor Mahuya Sarkar, Honorable Member of Parliament, Professor Bhakta Sangamita, Professor Mijushima, other colleagues on the dais, colleagues and friends from different countries, and happens to be only 3 or 4 this time, as Professor Mijushima has already mentioned earlier. Delegates from other Indian universities and colleges, friends, students, and ladies and gentlemen. I am here in the capacity of as one of the organizers of this conference, and therefore I don't want to say much on what the conference is going to be, because this has already been said. This is the 7th meeting of the weekend network, and this started by single-handedly by Professor Mijushima and his colleagues, and he has put a lot of effort to sort of conceptualize a network where we could study different disciplines like history, economics, geography, of course, and anthropology, archaeology, etc., And the binding thread there is what GIS, which emerged as a mapping technique or computer-based mapping technique. And that brings a lot of clarity into several things. And among the uses of GIS now, as Mr. Nishima pointed out, is even the most modern analysis analytics that has started taking place is big data analytics and big data analysis and blockchain mapping and so on. So its importance as far as study of several of these disciplines is concerned, GIS is certainly one of the most important ones. I would like to also take you through a little bit of history about ANGIS, that the first 2 conferences were held in University of Tokyo and University of Kyoto in Japan, and then the next one was in Academia Sinica in Taiwan, at Taipei, and this next one was in Bangkok. It was organized by one of the universities in Bangkok, and this was followed by organizations by Philippines, that is University of Tillman at Philippines, and the last conference was was in Sun Yat-sen University in Guangzhou in China. And it was there that I asked Professor Nishima that we would like to organize the 7th conference in India, and he asked me, where are you going to take this, where it is likely to organize, and immediately came to my mind that at this time of the year, especially around end of November, early December, Burdwan Skyway could be the best suited for that. And I'm really thankful to the Burdwan University administration, Professor and others, to very kindly consented and agreed to my request to organize this. ANGIS as such is a journey started by a determination of Professor Nijushi. It won't be enough just to thank you for starting or initiating something like this, but we would certainly contribute the continuation of this journey time to come. About what GIS is and how all of this happens, Professor PVC has already said everything that needs to be said. So rather than taking much more time, I would like to thank once again Burdwan University for agreeing to host this conference and facilitate the interaction of the scholars from different disciplines with common thread and network of ANGIS and views of GIS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for the valuable comment. Now, I request Professor Mumtaz Sanghamita, Honorable Member of Parliament, to deliver her address.
Though everybody is much younger than me, but I start with my namaskar to all of you in respect, and I am really thankful to Burdwan University, Department of Geography, for asking me to join in your, I would say, this conference, because though I am much old, but I believe till date we learn, till our dying day, until our dying day we learn, and I love to learn very new things as well. So that is why, and this is a very, very new subject. And I should congratulate the organizers. Most of them are sitting in the dais. They are professors, quite learned persons, and I am very thankful to convener. I am also giving my thanks to Professor Nijushi for his such a new innovative idea of introducing a subject and pursuing it, because as I learned from my respected Prof. that how it can not only deal with the history, the GIS system, and it can be utilized in the political, economic, and all sorts of matters. And so I personally thanking everybody in the dais and our president of this organization, Professor Dubey, our chairman of this and convener of this chairman of this conference, Professor Siddiqui, and our secretary, Professor Jana, as the secretary of the this organization over here, and the secretary, Professor, he is the president, and I know all of you are feeling proud, and first of all I must welcome our other international guests, like two of our professors have come from Vietnam, and other persons or professors from Japan, and also the other national, I should say, dignitaries, that professors from different universities, Chennai and others, they have come all the way. And I am feeling really proud along with you people that Burdwan is hosting that. So by this way, I may say in the history, some Burdwan books it is written that the origin of this Burdwan is known even in the Stone Age. Yeah, it is Stone Age. This place is being known. I don't know. It should not be the name, but is known, and it is a center for many things. For in the Mughal period, before that also, if I may be wrong because I am the person of history, and this sort of thing, and this town is much older than Kolkata. So here we are holding this. I am really proud because with this GIS, we would be able to get much more history of the district of Burdwan. It's a history about the place, about the rains, about the its alteration in the political situations, as well as we will get this. We are famous for our rice and potato production. So we are first in the India about this. So I think we will do much help in digging out the history of Burdwan. This Professor Mitsubishi's initiative will do that. And I am also proud that is such an important, innovative subject is being started in the Asia, South and Far East Asia, and it is in Japan. And mostly involved people are those peoples like Bank of the Coordination. Japan, the first one, and we are the one, and there is Bangkok also, and we have others. Philippines is there? Countries. So I think about that because history is much richer in our side as well as in the Africa like Egypt and all. I think next it will go, first it should spread to Africa and then to other places, Western countries it should. That is my feeling because they have also quite a old histories and many turnovers in their political and other lives. So I think we should try, Professor Mitsubishi and my colleagues, your colleagues, should do that. First try to spread it in the Africa. And in that sense, two things, Japan and Africa, quite a far away place. But one thing I remember, in my daughter's school food, there was a story about the tsunami. One Japanese old people, how he saved the whole village from tsunami. So you know, from the GIS we can, those natural disasters also we can have a history and how to prevent it, where it is possible in next time. That will be, I think, more easily be probably reached by this GIS system. And about the Africa, why I remember it? Because the people as well as animals, they migrate because in search of food and shelter and because of drought and everything. So when it will be more modernized because it is digitalized and from there the animals themselves can transcend, I don't know, they have in their brain the GIS, but the human being doesn't have. So we'll have, if GIS may help all of us to, while where is the food, where is the cultivated lands left, that sort of, it can help. That is why I remember that Africa should be the next destinations. And I am very happy that many students, I suppose, are there. And because I am also a professor, teacher rather, though in medicine line, I always love students. They should be the one who come forward for in these researches, and also I feel because we keep ourselves professors, teachers, we keep ourselves young because of them. We are always with association with them. I used to tell my, anybody asked my age, I said I am between 17 to 28, not more than that any time. With these words and very success in this conference, and I should say 3 cheers for Japan and Mitsubishi, Professor Mitsubishi, and the Asia and Burdwan itself.
Madam has rightly pointed out Burdwan is the rice bowl, so we are secure so far as food security is concerned. And Professor Mamta Sanghamika, she is not merely member of parliament, she is a renowned doctor, medical practitioner. Now, I request our dear chairperson, Professor Gyasuddin Siddiqui, to say a few words.
Thank you, Professor Jana. Our Honorable Co-Vice Chancellor, Madam, Professor Mohammad Shawkat, Honorable MP, Professor Montaj Sanghavita, Professor Nijushima, Professor Dubey, Dr. Vishwas, Dr. Professor Jana, the dignitaries on and off the dais, and the delegates from here and abroad. I must cut short because we are already running late. As a chairperson, I have some views. At first, I will again, Professor, like Professor Nijushima, I must give a big, great thanks to NECMO for providing such an informative atlas, because we are concerned with history and geography, and only it can integrate the two. It is customary to say something from the text. That GIS, though we are thinking about as a very new one, but I think since the inception of the geographical knowledge, it was there, but in a different form. But in this present era of technology, we have some different tools and techniques to apply it in different subjects. It's true that just before 70,000 years ago, the species called Homo sapiens, I mean we the people, started to elaborate culture, and the consequent development of culture through time is history. But the incidents in different times took place on some space, I mean physical space, that is geography. And the incidents which took place on geography is called the history. But all the development throughout the world had another force which is called economics. And this is, I think, the greatest force in the world to control culture, politics, even history. GIS is so strong that one example is enough to understand the importance of this particular direction. That just after the Second World War was over, a pilot who took place in the war, who took part in the war, came to Kolkata and identified a building, and standing there, he uttered that there was a building on which I was ordered to go, and in his hand there was a map. So the information, it can lead us to the older times of Gilgamesh. I mean the flood history of the world, which everybody know, I think. And the knowledge is, I mean, with the secular information, we can decide the destiny of this Homo sapiens, because we should know the buffer between the mythology and history. Because history is data-based. It says the truth. It doesn't imagine. And the mining of data through GIS, taking the information of the past and the future, it is very much necessary to enrich geography and the space on which all these events are happening. It will decide the history. So that's why we are very much eagerly waiting. At the outset, I must appreciate the pains and different efforts. As a senior teacher, I have observed everything that all my colleagues and students and scholars who performed hard works to make this particular event a grand success, and with a high hope, I will see that the knowledges which will be disseminated in this particular event, it will enrich not only the subjects but the next gen who will come for further enrichment of particular knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman sir, for your helpful comments. So, before proceeding to vote of thanks, there is another important event. We are going to release a book edited by Dr. Biplab Vishwas.
Thank you all the dignitaries for releasing the book, and I must say it is the outcome of very short time and very hard work of our department, and maybe my name is there as an editor, but I must say the work, the intensive work of collecting paper and organizing all these papers and bringing it to a particular format and giving it a shape. So all these things has been done by our Dr. Nonita Chakma, and a big round of applause I must give to her. Nonita, come on.
So one announcement, after the vote of thanks is over, we will have one group photo So I request all the dignitaries and our learned colleagues for the group photo. So now, now it is customary on my part as organizing secretary to express the vote of thanks. The organizing committee would like to express gratitude to Professor P. Mizushima, Secretary General ANGIS, University of Tokyo, Japan, for giving us the opportunity to organize this conference. We are grateful to other dignitaries, Professor Munkar Sanghamita, Honorable Member of Parliament and renowned Doctor Professor Amresh Dubey of Jawaharlal Nehru University and President ANGIS India for coming over here. We are happy to see Professor Bhupinder Jutsi of CSRD, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Professor Mandira Datta of School of International Studies. Recently she has retired from SIS and shifted to one special center on disaster management. I was talking to Jutsi sir that fathers have come first time to our university. We are grateful to you, Jutsi sir and Mandira madam. I am also happy to see some of my younger friends, rather I would like to say younger brothers, Anil, Abhay and Rajneesh. Now Dr. Anil Rai is now based in Safety University, Ahmedabad. Abhay is based in one reputed organization in New Delhi. Rajneesh also based in one of the reputed organizations in New Delhi. We are also grateful to other foreign delegates as well. I mean, some of the delegates have come from Japan. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the sponsoring agencies like Indian Council of Social Science Research, Science Engineering Research Board, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, National Atlas and Thematic Mapping Organization. Madam Director is present here, Dr. Tapoti Banerjee, Anthropological Survey of India for their financial assistance to hold this conference. We are very much grateful to our university administration, although university administration is the host. Rather, we are very much grateful to our university administration, especially Professor Nimai Chandra Saha, Honorable Vice Chancellor. So he did not come today because he has other assignment in Durgapur. Professor Mohammad Sarkar, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Papajol Hossain, Registrar. Without their guidance and inspiration, it would not have been possible to organize this international event. We are also thankful to Dr. Devidas Mandal, Joint Registrar, Mr. Parthanarayan Ghosh, Finance Officer, Dr. Indrajit Rai, Development Officer, Mr. Arijit Chatterjee, University Engineer in charge. He is now based in the Department of Lifelong Learning, Assistant Director. Dr. Dipendranath Dev, Estate Officer, and others for their constant help and advice. We are especially thankful to University Press for the nice printing of abstract volume, invitation card, certificate within a short span of time. We are thankful to the authority of Burdwan Science Center for providing us this smart auditorium and nice ambience for organizing this event. We also would like to express our sincere thanks to the reporters of print and electronic media. Once again, thank you all. So, now we will have a group photo with the dignitary and I request all the colleagues to come.